Washington, D.C., the national capital of the greatest nation on planet Earth. Home to a lot of history, some great architecture, and a very tall monument. However, it's not that monument I'm talking about. I will be talking about a different monument in today's video. That is the Hughes Memorial Tower.
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker?
If you're like any normal person, you have no idea what I'm talking about. What is the Hughes Tower? Where is it located? How come I've never heard of it? Well, there's a couple of obvious reasons I'm going to get into at the end of the video, but first off, we're going to start out with some background information on it. First off, it was built on January 15th, 1989. It's named after John S. Hughes. He was a police chief known for adopting the communications technology into the department. Don't worry, I had no idea who that guy was before filming this video. And then second, we also have it standing at 761 feet tall, which puts it 206 feet exactly over the Washington Monument. So why, you ask, why is this Hughes Tower so overlooked? First, we're going to start out with some not so easily recognizable things about the tower, and then we're going to get into the really stupidly obvious stuff later on. Starting off, we're going to begin with location, and I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a spoiler. The location is pretty bad. It's located on the northeast side of Washington, D.C., more towards the north actually, just off of Missouri Avenue. It's located exactly at 6001 Georgia Avenue, not even close to the National Mall, about 5.5 miles. That's going to be about a half an hour drive, hour-long metro commute, about half an hour of biking. It's just not worth going out there all that way. You're going to be greeted by a Walmart Supercenter, which, America, of course, it's going to be Walmart. There's also a smoke shop, a liquor store that actually does have bars on the front of it. You will also get greeted by some dying trees and possibly a homeless encampment. These photos admittedly are pretty old. However, they were up there for over a year with just like this trash-like looking mound. So it's just not a good area to be in. Apart from location, another thing that kind of gets brushed off quite often is the history of the site. And for a lot of people, 1989, it really isn't that old. Over half the population of the United States is older than the tower is, as you can see from this graph right here, taken from the data from the US Census. And also, it just isn't in recognition of some great event that happened in the United States' history, like World War I, II, or like the Civil War, or Manifest Destiny, or something like that. Finally, returning to location, the history of the Brightwood district isn't that deep, mainly because it's rooted in being so far from city center. The only things that are there are the historic Emory Church and Fort Stevens, which was torn down. And now, we've arrived to the elephant in the room. The structure is unmemorable. It's ugly. It's a police communications tower, for crying out loud. Who wants to look at that? It's just a piece of steel that's woven into a somewhat unique steel pattern, and it's unattractive. And then finally, there's the namesake recognizability. Like, you got the Washington Monument. It's named after George Washington, the first president of the United States. Everyone with a frontal lobe in the United States knows who he is. And then you have John S. Hughes. Well, I'm sure he was a very important figure in Washington, D.C., and people there probably recognize him, and that may come as offensive, but no one else in the United States knows who he is. Let's be real about that. And that's the main thing about it. It's just like, you can't remember this thing. You can see these things all across the United States. There's nothing special about it really at all. Like, you can't go up with it. It's just used for communications, and that's it. Well, there you have it. The reasons why almost no tourist has heard about the actual tallest structure in Washington, D.C. And now you, the viewer, have the pleasure of being that annoying person on the trip, saying, Actually, the Washington Monument is not the tallest building or structure in the city. That would actually be the huge memorial tower, where you will be responded by either a cool, that's interesting, in a boring tone, or an angry, I don't care, why are you such a nerd anyways? So, if you liked the video, drop a like, hit subscribe if you're feeling nice, and leave a comment about how handsome my voice sounds. Goodbye.